Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Software Engineer Kaya, and today we've got quite a lot of stuff to go through. So we have quite a lot of updates regards to Marvel. We have the drop tomorrow. We also have a lot of stuff happening in terms of the marketing. I had a quick catch up with Reese today as well. It's going to be a pretty busy month for him, but we have arranged a time to do a stream next week on Wednesday, where we'll get to hear a little bit more in terms of the Marvel month stuff. He may have some more updates because we do have the blind boxes coming, so it's just some stuff regarding that. And we also have quite a lot of turbulence happening in the market. I just wanted to touch on that and kind of give you guys an update with regards to the drop tomorrow and just the price of Omi for today. So what's really cool is today Marvel on their official Twitter channel, they've been kind of sharing the VV drop, and they've also shared the trailer as well, which is pretty cool. So you guys can kind of see they go through the various different rarities, but not just Marvel. We've had reshares from the Spider-Man page as well. We've also had reshares from Bitcoin Network, over 1.5 million followers. We had CoinGecko email out their subscribers. The marketing's just been going crazy. And this time around, they are actually running ads, a lot of ads on it. I believe the aim is to literally push this out as much as possible, try and get this to, literally sell out, because one, that's going to be more kind of proof of concept to Marvel, and two, more of us can own Spider-Man, and it will also be the first real push that they have towards marketing. So we should start to see more organic growth in the user base, which is going to be good for all the collectibles overall, because right now there has been a lot of kind of people saying, hey, there's just too much kind of money being recycled by the same people flipping, etc. So this should hopefully add a bit more balance to the market. So that is really cool. Now, we do have an update regards to Marvel and Vivi. So one of the executives from Marvel, he did this quick little interview with Dave, Dan, and Reese. So I just wanted to share with you guys just a little bit on the demo side that Dan kind of walks us through.
That's it. Well, look, we've probably kept people waiting long enough. Dan, I believe you have some collectibles that we're going to show people. A little reveal. Is that ready to go?
What we're looking at here now is one of the poses, obviously Spider-Man's iconic crouch pose. And this crouch pose is also used in one of the animated ones we have. As you can see, Spider-Man does his epic jump up. You can see just at the top of the screen there's a beautiful bit of web that attaches to the roof. And then the second animation, which we're looking at right now, is Spider-Man's backflip. And of course, if we're going to release Spider-Man, we have to do one with a web sling, with a web shoot. So I'm anticipating there's going to be a lot of really cool, fun AR around this. Now, I'm not sure if you can see it too well in that particular video, but there's some really cool Spidey sense features coming out from his head just before he does the backflip. So looking forward to seeing a lot of cool stuff in AR about that. And then lastly, this is our third pose here with Spider-Man in his iconic shoot pose. Gotta say, this one here is probably one of my favorite.
Like, we've seen a few animated collectibles on VV already, but probably nothing as dynamic or iconic as this. Do you want to just share a bit of the process, behind the scenes to make these things?
So you guys can kind of see there with the secret rare, we have a Spider-Man where not just do we see, him shooting the web, there's going to be sound effects with it, but also, if you guys caught it, there's like this little kind of white flash just pops off from his head, supposed to simulate his spider sense. But on top of that, we do have an ultra rare 2, which is also animated. It does the kind of hanging from the wall with the web as well. So really cool stuff there. But the rare, uncommon, and common, they're all in pretty good poses. Obviously they're static, but at the same time, it's Spider-Man and the poses themselves do look cool. So I just had one other quick point to touch on. So with regards to the animation, so Dan kind of just goes on to talk about the process of animating them. So I spoke about this before, and Trevor's spoken about this as well, because a lot of people are speculating that current existing NFTs, they'll get animations in the future. Now, when they build these NFTs, these models, what they normally have to do is they need to build it with what's known as a rig. It needs to be rigged. So that is essentially giving a skeleton, and then that skeleton is essentially mapped to the 3D model. So when you move the skeleton, the actual model itself moves, and then they basically animate it. So through the various different frames, they'll move the skeleton around to simulate, movement, whatever that might be. And some of these existing models, you can kind of retrospectively go back and create a rig for them, and then work with that, assuming that they're kind of the more simpler ones like Ritmo, because it's quite simple. I imagine it wasn't too hard to rig it retrospectively. But the more complicated ones, like for example the Spider-Man, I don't think they could retrospectively go back and rig it. They would have to create a brand new model. So what I suspect what might happen is if they want to animate future NFTs that are more complicated, they essentially have to kind of, in a way, yes, they can recycle some of it, but essentially they'd be recreating a lot from scratch in order to rig in that skeleton and then animate that. So, that's the beauty. A lot of people, they're two minds about it. They're like, hey, NFTs, you shouldn't be able to change the assets, blah, blah, blah. But, what you're changing is you can change the asset, you just can't change the transaction history or the ownership or the pointer on the NFT, which points to the asset. But they can change the asset within that location that the NFT is pointing to. That's just kind of like, the main crux of what an NFT is. It's essentially a bit of data on a blockchain that stores, transaction history, ownership, and a pointer to an asset file. Now, what I just wanted to touch on is there was a little bit of a correction here. So yesterday, David Yu, what he did was he posted and he said, with great power comes great responsibility. Please don't miss out on this amazing FA. This release will have a time expired. Now, initially there was a lot of people speculating about what this meant. I suspected what this meant was after a while, they're going to pull this NFT from the market. But I had a quick catch up again, like I said, with Reese, and this may not really mean anything. It might just be, David Yu with his play on words. So I suspect we might not see a time limited release. It'll be interesting to see what he meant by time expired. We'll ask him in the AMA anyway. He should be dropping by along with Dan and Alex in the AMA tonight. So hopefully we can get a bit more clarification on what this means. But David Yu, he's always got interesting things to say. Now, what I also wanted to touch on is we have an update regards to the actual Spider-Man drop in the app. So we have the uncommon, rare, secret rare, and the common below. So you guys can kind of see the gem prices. I believe now the rare, although it's 100 gems, 9,000 editions, I'm predicting it won't sell out right away, although it will eventually sell out, because for Spider-Man 9,000 editions, yes, it's a lot, but they're really pushing for it, so it might sell out. But I don't think it's going to be the ones where it sells out within a second. I think, it might sell out across the period of maybe like a day or so. Obviously, the Ultra and Secret Rare, I suspect, will sell out pretty much straight away. Uncommon and Common, I think they will sit there in the shop. Just like, what we've seen with the Batman Who Laughs, or, the Robin and whatnot. So those are my thoughts. The only ones I can see are going above retail would be the Ultra and Secret Rare. Now, I just wanted to kind of touch on what I believe the prices of these are going to be, because I see some absolutely crazy, assumptions. People thinking this is going to go 10x to like 4K. People thinking the Ultra is going to be worth, minimum 1K. So I just wanted to go back to a good case study, the Ghost Trap. So when the Ghost Trap came out, people were speculating a price of 2K, and a lot of people saw that price prediction of 2K, and then they were buying Ghost Traps at 1K, because they're like, hey, it's going to be a 2x. The Ghost Trap has definitely got to go to 2,000, because It's Ghostbusters, that's a huge IP. It's the very first, fully interactive NFT as well. It's got sound, it's got visuals. It even interacts with Slimer. It's the first NFT to interact with another NFT. And it just looks pretty cool in a showroom. Like all of these reasons, and it's FA as well, first appearance, and it's ultra rare, and it's less than 2,000 mints. All of these were justifications that people put out to say, hey, this is going to be worth 2k. And then something new comes along, and the price goes down to below 400 gems, which I think is actually undersold. Oversold. I think, the price dipped a bit too much there. But this is just what I'm saying is, people, every time there's a new drop, people are going to say, hey, this drop's going to go to 2k, 3k, whatnot, and then something new rolls around, and then they sell it off, and then they start saying the same thing about the next drop, and this cycle just repeats, and it's been repeating for a while now. But I'm surprised people just haven't learned from it. So my realistic price prediction, I'm a huge Marvel fan, and I'm a collector, so I would fall into that niche where I'm like the perfect target audience for this. No way would I pay 4k for it. And Marvel's like my number one brand. My realistic price prediction for the Secret Rare, with 1,000 editions, if we compare it to other quite popular IP branded collectibles. So if you look at, say, Todd Batman or the Stephen Pugh Harley Quinn, those have market caps of around about 2 million-ish, and that's like on the very, very high end. So if we say this is comparable for the ultra rare, then I would say a realistic price for the ultra rare, you're looking closer to 500, 600 gems, which I think is fair on the drop day, and then I do see it pulling back over time to about 400-ish. And the secret rare, I see on drop day people trying to stick it up for like 1.2, 1.1k, and then I see it pulling back to around about 1k-ish. I imagine there will be people really FOMOing in, and the price might spike up to about 1.4, 1.5k, similar to what Lucky Rabbit was at, which has now also come down itself to around about 1.2, 1.3. And over time, I do suspect it will come down a bit more. I don't see it dropping below 1k, just like I don't see the Spider-Man Secret Rare dropping below 1k. But, I said today that, I made a pet project a while ago. I essentially made AR models, which I could control with my voice. So I said, imagine if we get Star Wars and you could say to a Stormtrooper NFT, execute Order 66. The speech recognition could pick that up, and then it would run the, Stormtrooper firing their laser gun animation or something. People would probably be like, hey, it's the first NFT that recognizes speech, and it's fully animated, blah blah blah, and it's Star Wars, huge IP. And then whatever people have that's really valuable, I imagine a lot of those will be dumping, and we'll go through the same cycle again, because that's exactly pretty much what happens. So I would say don't FOMO into it at 1.5k because someone tells you it's going to go to 3k. Just wait until the next cycle, and to be honest, that next cycle is going to come very, very fast. We have blind boxes coming. My experience with blind boxes, as they sell out and they're much more popular than kind of like the standalone, single NFT drop where you know what you're getting, because people in this game, they're addicted to gambling. It is what it is. And blind boxes, I'm kind of one of those people. I'll just keep buying them until I get what I want. So, it's not good for people like myself, but I think it's going to be massively popular, and people will be selling, whatever they can in order to have enough gems for purchasing these blind boxes. Now, what I always wanted to just touch on today is the price of OMI for today. So we've seen some interesting movement. Now, yesterday we were here, we were bouncing along this line of support, and I predicted it actually to come down a little bit following the after the drop. But all of the Marvel marketing kicked in, and we just shot up. We broke past the previous resistance, and this one here as well. So I suspect, now we're touching along this point of support, 1, 2, 3. Tomorrow after the drop, I suspect we'll come back down because all of the hype is going to die down. I suspect we'll come back down to below this 0.27 region. That's just what I believe is going to happen in the short term. In the long term, as they get the more organic growth going and more marketing with Marvel Month, we will come back and we'll retest this trend line, because we did touch it once, twice, I believe we are due a third touch, so that's going to be pretty exciting. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to go through with you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe to support the content. We have quite a lot of stuff coming up next week, so do stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.